Oh, yeah. Another Tech Preacher podcast, baby. This your boy, Eric. Listen, man, we gonna get into it, man. Look, man, I love these podcasts. You know what? One of the things about these podcasts that I want y'all guys to know, it's totally unscripted. It's my thoughts of doing this for years. Listen, man, I think these podcasts is important because I want y'all guys to hear my thoughts about some of this stuff, right? And as we talk about iPhone season, I just want to touch bases on the negativity that we see out here on the airwaves, right? You know, one of the things that when you talk about Apple and Samsung, it brings in the fanboyism. You brings in people that believe that one company is better than the other company. No way that this brand should be able to beat this brand and stuff like that. Listen, man, as I talk about these devices week after week, and I make videos about, you know, other choices and low budget choices and all kinds of things like that, I come to the realization, and I preach this every week. If a device works for you, it don't matter what none of us say. I believe that us tech content creators, when we make videos about products and services, we just give y'all guys the information. If we don't give you the information, then we have failed you. And I think some of us have failed the viewers, right? I think what we have brought to the table is that this destruction, that if you don't buy the latest and greatest product, then you are nobody. I hate that, man. Like, I really do hate that. It grinds my gears when I hear people say, if you don't have the latest and greatest, then you are nobody. And on this YouTube channel and my podcast, what do I be preaching? I preach this a lot. I preach this, that it don't matter if it's a 1-year-old device or a 3-year-old device or even a 4-year-old device. Listen, man, if a phone or a product works for you, that's all that matters. And let's talk about smartphones for a second. And the reason why I'll piggyback off of this, because it gets to me sometimes when, you know, people tell their viewers, right? Content creators tell their viewers that they need to upgrade. And you know, listen, man, I always say this, right? We get comments. I get comments like this all the time. Should you upgrade? Should you upgrade? My narrative have changed. My narrative is this. The device that you have in your pocket, I don't care what it is, whether or not it's Android or iOS. I don't care what manufacturer it is, whether or not it's Motorola. It don't matter if it's Samsung, Motorola, or whatever. It could be new mobile, blue. It don't matter what it is, right? My question to the viewer, is that device working for you? And that person usually come back and say, well, yeah, I mean, it good battery life. The display is nice. The cameras is, you know, it could be better. The battery life has been great, and stuff like that. But they're hearing a lot of content creators pushing the narrative of upgrading it, always upgrading. Don't you know we get multiple releases from different companies every year? Our job as content creators is to give the information. That's it. Listen, it's not up to me or anybody out there to force you to upgrade or tell you must upgrade, to tell you to buy a product, because it's not up to us to make your choice for you. I believe that when you making a choice to do an upgrade, whether or not it's going to be a smartphone, tablet, or computer, when you're doing your initial research, you go on the web, you watch your YouTube videos. Listen, man, I encourage this because, listen, I know people always say, well, just buy the product, right? If you don't like it, return it. Man, listen, man, who have hundreds and thousands of dollars just to shell out to a company, just to buy a phone or buy a product, just to use it and then return it? That's the whole thing. So what a lot of viewers do, including me, all right? We go on the internet, we read articles, we watch trusted videos, people that we trust, reviews that we trust, reviews that has a pretty good history. Listen, man, that's the key. When you're watching a reviewer, you looking for the reviewer that will give you facts, right? Opinion, obviously, right? They give you their experience and their opinion, but when you look at that person's history, have that person demonstrated shadiness, have that person demonstrated unfairness, bias towards products and services, because I'm gonna tell you, they got a lot of creators out there that do that, and so it's up to you as a viewer to come and find reviewers and it doesn't matter if it's in tech, cars, it doesn't matter. Find reviewers that you trust. And I would tell you that I would watch multiple videos of the same product to get an opinion of that product before you shell out $1,000, $1,500, $1,200, $2,000 on that product. Because you want to get the information. Listen, man, when we talk about, and I'm going to talk about this. And let's talk about this for a second. Cameras, right? Everybody always talk about, every year you get upgraded cameras. You get 200 megapixel cameras. You get this kind of camera. Cameras gonna be better. Cameras gonna be better. Oh, the Z Fold cameras ain't as good as the Galaxy S23 Ultra cameras. Oh, the iPhone 11 is not better than the iPhone 15 cameras. And it's the same narrative every year. Every year, cameras, right? Here's my answer to that. Here's my answer to questions about cameras. It's not about the phone. It's not about the smartphone cameras. It's the user. Listen, man, you could take a professional photographer and give them a budget smartphone. They will get a great shot, a almost perfect shot. You take an amateur photographer and give them a world-class flagship device supposed to have the best cameras on the planet, will get a horrible shot. Let me say that again. You could take a professional photographer or videographer, and give them a $200 or $300 budget phone, and they will get the perfect shot. You give a amateur photographer, a videographer that doesn't know nothing about how to shoot a photo or nothing how to shoot a video, and give them the world-class best phone on the planet, and they will get a horrible shot. It's the user. It's the user. Listen, I talk about this, and a lot of people criticize me because I've changed the narrative. I've went back and I started talking about older devices. I talk about different narratives. Listen, if you believe that smartphone is going to give you the perfect shot, and then you are missing the whole boat, right? That smartphone ain't going to give you the perfect shot. It's up to you to know how to frame. It's up to you to have the perfect lighting. It's up to you. If you use pro mode, you got to use the proper settings in order to get the perfect shot. I know a lot of people, the average consumer just open up the camera app and point and shoot. But guess what? Again, I've seen people with iPhone 14s and Galaxy S22s and 23s get horrible photos because they turn on their phone and hit the shutter button. And you see horrible photos. Framing is off. They didn't tap the focus, or the phone didn't focus for them, or they had shaky hand, or somebody was moving in the frame and it was blurry. So once again, it's on the user. It's not on the phone or the product. Listen, you could give a person a $10,000 professional camera, and if they do not know how to shoot with the proper settings, they will get a horrible shot. A $100,000 camera, it doesn't matter the price. You could give a person a $100,000 camera, and if they don't know how to shoot properly, they would get a horrible shot. Now, you may ask the question, well, how could that be? It's a $100,000 camera. It's supposed to get the perfect shot. It doesn't work like that. The user is the one that's supposed to frame it, get the right aperture, get the right this and the right that in order to get the perfect shot. Same thing that go with smartphones. Yes, you could open up the device and you could point and shoot. Yes, you can do that. But there's still rules. It's rules behind photography. It's rules behind videos. Try to open up a phone and you got to shake your hand and take a shot. It don't care how How the device is, it don't matter if it's an ultimate flagship, it doesn't matter. If you got a shaky hand and you hit the shutter button, you go get a blurry shot. So I will always say it's not the smartphone that gives you the shot, it's the user. The user can make and break a photo or video. So this is why I changed the narrative. I put the blame on the user. I don't put the blame on the devices anymore, because if we go back down the memory lane and we go back down and we look at phones like the iPhone 8, iPhone 7s, if you go back into the Android ecosystem and look at the Motorola devices, go back and look at some of my older videos when I have some Motorola devices way back in 2017 and 2018 when I used to do side-by-side camera reviews. There was this absolutely gorgeous shots. So what have changed? Yeah, you get better sensors, technology move forward. Yes, we all agree that technology does move forward, but it's still on the user. Everything is on the user, right? All right, just like with battery life, when we talk about battery life is always on the user. You're not gonna get the same battery life that I will. Now, a lot of people proclaim that they are power users. Listen, man, my definition of a power user is different from what people believe. I don't know. Some people believe that if they're on social media all day, on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter and watching YouTube videos, they consider it a power user. I do not consider that person a power user, right? Yes, it does drain the battery. You got the screen on bright. You got 120 hertz on, it's going to drain the battery. Listen, power users is video editors, photo editors, high-end gaming, using desktop mode. Those, to me, that's a power user. A power user, in my definition, is a person that using high-end applications on the device to utilize all the power that's on that device. That's a power user, in my opinion. A power user to me is not being on Threads, not being watching YouTube videos and being on Netflix, not scrolling up and down on the internet. To me, that's not a power user. So it's a difference to me when it comes down to being a power user versus somebody that is a power user. So listen, man, we got the iPhone 15s out, man. Listen. The video, the embargo that's lifted, and we got videos back to back to back, and you're hearing some people experiences and stuff like that from the big guys that's dropping their videos. Listen, man, here's the thing: if you are an iOS user, and this is where all the fighting and all this stuff come in, man. If you are in the Apple ecosystem, it don't matter what Samsung drop. It don't matter the Z Fold got Tom Brown edition. It doesn't matter. If you are in the Apple ecosystem, your focus is on, should I give up my beloved 14, which I would encourage you not to, but that's your choice. Should you give up your beloved 14 or your beloved 13 to upgrade to the beloved, to the 15s and the 15 Pros and the Pluses and the Maxes, right? That's the focus of an iOS user. Now, getting on Twitter, fighting against who got the better phone, who got the better cameras, Samsung got better zooming and all that stuff like that, man, listen, that's all here or there. If you're in the Apple ecosystem, it doesn't matter what people do on Android. If you're on the Android ecosystem, it doesn't matter what people on iOS does. You got this internal fighting that happens all the time. And you know what? It just happens every year, and it ain't gonna stop. I know it ain't gonna stop, but the truth of the matter is, it doesn't matter. Listen, these companies is winning because while y'all fighting over who have the better devices, these companies are selling out the wazoo, and they love y'all for the free advertisement. They love you because you giving them free advertisement. Why do that? If you are in the ballpark of getting the iPhone 15, it doesn't matter what other people say. If you believe and you watch videos and you did your research and this is the device that you want to buy, it doesn't matter what I say. Nobody say, go on to buy your device and enjoy your tech. That's what you need to do. If you are in the neighborhood, if you are in the space of buying or wanting to upgrade to the latest and greatest iPhone 15 Pro or Pro Max, and you did your due diligence and your research, it doesn't matter what we say at this point. After you did your research and you come to the conclusion that you want to enjoy your tech by getting your iPhone 15 or 15 Pro Max, enjoy your tech, buy it, and enjoy your tech. Listen, I know us content creators, we try to put phone against phone to showcase the differences. What do I always say when I put phone against phones? You be the judge for yourself. What do I always say when I do camera reviews? When I show you two cameras, two photos, two videos, side by side, with two flagships or two budget devices, it doesn't matter, two devices. What do I say in my video? You be the judge for yourself. I don't give a final conclusion on which device is better, because the color science that I like, you may not like. The clarity that I like, you may not like. You may like a brighter photo. I may not like a brighter photo. So it's not up to me to tell you which device have the better photo or video. You have to determine that when you look at the photos and videos. It's not up to no content creator to tell you about the photos and videos that you watching on that screen. It's up to the content creator to give you the information. That's all we do. We don't tell you what device is better than the other. Listen, I used to do this. I used to do a point system, right? I used to put, and this is why people get upset with me sometimes. Because when I take an older device, I'm going to say it, LG V60, right? And I put it against a current flagship. And I used to do a point system. People used to get pissed off at me because the first thing they conclude is that older device, no way, no how, should ever beat a flagship. And you know what? That should be true. But once we get down into the deep details, where you talk about headphone jack, quad DAC, desktop mode, pen support, dual display, long battery life, wow, then we get some differences. But it don't matter if it got pen support. It don't matter if it got desktop mode. It don't matter if it got this. It don't matter if it got that. Even though this device may not have all those features, this device, the flagship, the current flagship, should win. And so I stopped doing those videos because I had came to the conclusion that, listen, man, I'm not fighting with people in the comments. I'm not fighting with people that, believe that every new phone that comes out every year is better than every phone out there. So what they do is they push the narrative. They get in the comments. They do internal fighting. They get on Twitter. They get on Facebook. They fight and 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 they fight. And all the while, when you look at the point system that people put out there, pound for pound, the older devices sometimes beat the newer devices, but people don't want to hear that. So what I did, I stopped making it. Listen, man, I stopped doing a lot of things, bro. It's because as I made those videos, to this day of me recording this podcast, I got people internal fighting on my YouTube channel all day about I'm listening from a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, Galaxy S21 is going against the iPhone 11. I mean, the comments, they're all in the comments fighting. I mean, it's just one of those things that it shouldn't happen that way, but it does. There's a lot of things that I stopped doing on this YouTube channel, because listen, man, I don't want to be the cause of a lot of negativity. I don't want to be the cause of internal fighting. I don't want to be the cause of all kinds of people debating. Listen, first of all, debates is totally different from the debates that we used to have a long time ago. People get really serious. They get violent, and they get on there, they cuss each other out, they block each other. Listen, man, I ain't got time for all that. So I don't make those videos no more. I haven't done a camera review video between two devices in about a year. A lot of things I've stopped doing is because, man, I believe that it's on the user. It's on the user. It's not about the device. I could get an old device and get a good shot because I know how to. I'm a good photographer. At least I think I am. So that's why I stopped doing it. I just give an overview in my opinion about products and services, and then I just keep it pushing. Listen, man, times have changed, man, and I'm changing with it. But yeah, man, I want to touch bases on that, man, on some of the iPhone. Again, I'm giving iPhone praise, man. All right, let's talk about the word of the day. I was piggybacking off of what I talked about earlier. Is that, listen, man, the word of the day is don't let nobody influence you to do nothing. That's the word of the day. Don't let nobody influence you to do nothing. Stick to your guns, do your research. Because a lot of people on the internet, you never met them, you don't even know them. You just know them by their username. Don't let nobody influence you to do something that you don't want to do. Listen, man, if you love the products and services that you have, you should never let nobody, influence you to upgrade or spend more money and all that stuff like that when you have products and services that's working just fine. I always talk about rock devices till the wheels fall off. And the reason why is because I believe that listen, man, this stuff ain't cheap no more, man. Listen, we ain't talking about $200 and $300 devices anymore. We talk about $1,000 to $2,000 phones now. I mean, we're not talking about no, few $100s worth of devices. We talk about, high price devices. I believe that you ought to get, if you're going to spend $2,000 on the phone, you ought to get years and years and years of usage out of that device. If you're a big ballers always go do what they got to do, upgrade or whatever, this, that, and other. But I listen, man, again, I want y'all guys to understand. Don't let nobody influence you to do something. I remember back in school and stuff, man, people used to influence you to do bad things, right? People used to tell you to do things and it's wrong, but you did it anyway. They call that peer pressure and all that stuff like that. But now since we got older, times have changed. Things are a little different than it was 5 or 10 years ago. That means you have to be smarter, think smarter. You have to, listen, yes, you can have fun. If you're a tech enthusiast, man, you can have fun with all the tech that you want. But at the end of the day, don't let nobody influence you to get something that you know that you don't want. You want it, right? We all want something, but do you need it? And that's the whole thing. So that's my thing for y'all is that don't let nobody influence you, man. Listen, I see people get into a lot of trouble. They got people in jail right now by letting other people influence them to do stuff. They got trends, the bad trends is going on right now. People influencing other people to do crime. People influence other people to do drugs. People influence other people to spend unnecessary money. People influence other people to buy new cars, new this, new that. And, when you got a vehicle or a products or services that's working just fine, listen, a lot of people believe that's old. Ain't nothing old but clothes. Everything else stays the same. Listen, don't let these companies influence you to believe that your beloved device that you bought 1 year, 2 years ago is so outdated and old that you have to give it up. And let's talk about one more thing before I get out of here. And let's go back into some of these devices for a second. Just because your device have lost support, like they got a lot of devices they call it end of life, doesn't mean that the device is going to clunk out. You have a lot of devices that have Android 13 or Android 12 that will not get Android 14. Listen, man, a lot of people freak out over that stuff. Oh my God, I got to get my updates. Listen, updates are very important. Don't get me wrong. Security patches is very important. OS updates coming from the latter to the newer, sometimes it's not as important. I would say that if most of the companies extend out their the security patches for, a year or 2 years. So if you're on Android 13, you might get maybe another year or 2 years worth of security patches. But remember this, even if the company stop giving you security patches, you have to do your due diligence. As a user, you have to do your due diligence. Why would you download unsavory links and stuff that's not coming from the App Store and stuff like that? You have to remember that the apps will get updated with full security. So the apps on your phone will get updated, but the security patches on your devices will probably cease to exist. So it's up to you as a user to protect yourself. Listen, man, sometimes a lot of people panic and say, well, I'm not getting no more security patches. I got to go out and spend $1,000 on a new phone. That's not the case. You just got to make sure you protect yourself at all times. You ain't got to keep going out spending $2,000, $1,000, or $1,500 on the phone every 2 or 3 years because the company stopped giving you security patches and updates. Man, listen, you think about all the money you go spend every 2 years or every 3 years on these devices because these companies sit back and taking your money because you believe that you're vulnerable, that somebody go steal your identity, your data is going to be gone. Don't you know your data is already on the internet? Don't you know that it don't take a security patch for you to get breached? Don't you know that they can give you all the security patches in the world, they can still steal your identity? So it's up to you as a user to protect yourself at all times. That's your responsibility for you to protect yourself at all times. You ain't got to go out, run out, keep buying new phones because they lost support. You hear this horrible term, end of life, like the phone is going to die. That's not the case. You got people that got Surface Duo 2s that's still stuck on Android 12 and no updates in sight, but they still love their Surface Duos, right? And you can't tell them that, hey, listen, if you love your Surface Duo, you're on Android 12L or Android 12, and you never got Android 13. If you love your Surface Duo, then it's all good, baby. Rock it and roll it till the wheels fall off. If you got the original Surface Duo, right? And a lot of people, it's end of life. It's end of life. Oh, my God. You got to upgrade. Man, listen, if that device is doing what it's supposed to do, then rock it till the wheels fall off, baby. All right, guys, another episode of the Tech Preacher Podcast, baby. Oh, boy, it goes fast, don't it? Listen, man, let me tell y'all something. Don't let nobody influence you to buy new products and services. You as a grown adult, man and female, it's up to you. If you got it like that, rock and roll with it. It don't take us to tell you to upgrade. You go upgrade because if you got it like that, do it, baby. But a lot of people always ask the question, should you upgrade? Should you upgrade? My question to you is your device still working? And 99% of most people tell me yes. And I always tell it, rock it till the wheels fall off, baby. Rock it till the wheels fall off. Don't worry about what people say, baby. Rock it till the wheels fall off. This is Tech Preacher, baby. Another episode of the Tech Preacher Podcast. I'm out of here. We're going to see you next week, baby. Same bat place, same bat time, baby. Oh! Later. Thank y'all, guys. I really appreciate y'all, man. I'm going to see y'all next week, baby. Later.